Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. It's Answer Monday. I will be putting the answers down in the description box below along with my email address. So if you guys have any questions, be sure to email me. Remember that these exercises are not official. These are just made up by me, and I am just a veteran coder who wants to share my knowledge of what I know. And hopefully, if you guys are going through and working through these problems, it'll help you to navigate the book, or get more experience in navigating the book, just spending more time with it and discovering new things in the book. Again, these are not official. This is just something from me to you just to help you out. All right, so let's get started with the answers. Number 1, the patient fell after being shoved in a bar fight. The patient broke their left ulnar wrist. The patient, he had contusions all around the left wrist. What are the diagnoses? I got S52.602A, W03.XXXA, and Y04.0XXA. All right. Remember, you can use as many external cause codes as needed to describe what happened to the patient. When there's contusions around a fracture, you're not going to pick up the contusions because it is presumed that if a patient has a fracture, they're going to have some bruising. Of course, this does not always happen all the time, but the majority of the time it can happen. So this is why you do not pick up contusions along with a fracture code, okay, when they're in the same area. Number 2. The patient had a right knee ACL or anterior cruciate ligament sprain 3 years ago after twisting his knee while skiing. He has had right knee pain and instability ever since. Okay. He is here for surgery eval. I got for the instability M25.361 and S83.511S and X50.0XXS. So why didn't I pick up the pain in conjunction with the instability? Because when you look up the symptoms of instability, pain is included. So you don't want to double dip and pick up the same thing. So this is why I picked the instability, because it's more specific and it covers the pain already. And this little scenario here is tying both the pain and the instability to the ACL sprain 3 years ago, which is what makes it a sequela now. All right? Because remember, there's no time limit on sequela. All right, number 3. Follow-up 1-year status post-clipping procedure for an aneurysm. Patient is currently well with no issues. I got Z09 and Z86.79, which is a personal history of diseases of the circulatory system. Why did I get this code? Because the aneurysm has to do with the arteries. So the arteries are part of the circulatory system. So this is how I got to that. All right? And plus, I wanted to throw in something in there that wasn't as ortho-esque or podiatry-esque. So something to keep you guys on your toes. Number 4, the patient had an autologous conditional plasma injection for right knee pain, or otherwise known as PRP. What is the procedure and diagnosis code? The procedure is 0232T, like in Tom, and the diagnosis code is M25.561, which is the right knee pain. Okay. Number 5, the patient arrives with an injured right wrist. She had fallen forward on steps onto her outstretched hand. Suspected right wrist sprain. Splint is applied to the right wrist. The patient is counseled to follow up at the next appointment to track progress. What are the diagnosis codes? I got S69.91XA and W10.9XXA. Now, that S69.91XA code is an injury unspecified of the right wrist. Now, why didn't I pick up the right wrist sprain? Because this is the outpatient setting. And remember, they said suspected right wrist sprain. They don't know. So we know definitively that she did come in there because her wrist was injured. We just don't know to what extent is this injury. So this is why I went ahead and picked up the injury unspecified, because it's not a sprain. Okay? All right, I'm back. So that was the answers on that one. That was why I had gotten the unspecified. And then the procedure code is 29125 for the splint application with an RT modifier, okay? And the modifier that would be applied to the E&M in this scenario would be A25, all right? So number 6, aftercare 2 weeks status post myringotomy for right otitis media. What is the diagnosis and procedure code for the post-op? So I got Z48.811, which is aftercare for the nervous system, because the ears fall under the nervous system. Okay? Now, I did have to look that one up because there's been some debate that no, it's a sense organ. Yes, but it's not in the what I've looked up in coding. It's not that. So the aftercare for the nervous system would be what that the aftercare for the otitis media would be. So it's Z48.811, and the procedure code is 99024, because remember, they're in the post-op. Okay? 2 weeks status post. So number 7, 6 weeks status post plantar fascia release. Surgical dressing and sutures removed. So I got Z47.89 orthopedic aftercare, and Z48.1 for the surgical dressing and suture removal, and 99024 for the procedure code. Okay. Number 8 is the gallstones. I got K80.20. And you can find gallstones under calculus of the gallbladder. So you would look under calculus and then the gallbladder. Okay. The cholecystectomy, laparoscopic cholecystectomy, 47562. And then aftercare for the cholecystectomy, 7 weeks. The diagnosis and procedure is Z48.815, which is aftercare of the digestive system. And the procedure code is 99024. The follow-up, 9 months, the diagnosis is Z09 for the follow-up, and Z87.19 for the diseases of the digestive system. Okay? Or history of diseases of the digestive system. Number 9, the patient had a right hip replacement 1 year ago. What is the diagnosis code for the follow-up? Z09 and Z96.641. Okay, and finally, number 10, bilateral osteoarthritis, ultrasound-guided steroid injections were performed on the bilateral knees. The diagnosis is M17.0, and the procedure code is 20611 with a 50 modifier. Okay, so how did you guys do? I'm sure you guys did fabulous. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I want to keep with the theme of the aftercare and throw some more injury codes. I need to pull out my bag of tricks when it comes to these injury codes, although I do have a list already started for this week's Quiz Friday. But I did want to talk about a question that I keep getting. So I've gotten this question like 3 times during the weekend. I get the question of which profession makes more money, a medical coder or a medical biller. Okay. So I'm gonna dispel this answer. All right. I don't like to answer questions when it comes to money, like how much somebody makes or who makes what. And the reason that I don't like to do this is because each region of the United States, okay, not just states, but of the United States, pays and starts their people differently for coders and for medical billers, okay? We have done a video about this before, but I will say this. Medical billers, okay, do not have to be certified. They have like certificates. I think they have programs where they have certificates, okay, that say that they've completed a program about medical billing, okay? That is not the same as somebody who is a certified medical coder, okay? If you are credentialed to be a medical coder, you're carrying those credentials after your name, okay? For me, I am a CCA. I have my certified coding associate. So I have CCA after my name. Whenever I am signing professional documents, I have CCA, okay? Medical billers, I don't know, but I do know that they have like certificates, okay? They don't have to sit for credentialed exams like medical coders do, okay? I don't even know very much about them, whether they have to have, continuing education units, which I don't really think that they do, because what they do is they process claims that come to them and they send it off for billing, which is a very important function of what makes the world go round, okay? But to ask which one makes more money, again, I don't know. Because when I started out, there was a huge difference between certain hospitals when I was running around doing all the applying everywhere. Some people started out their people at a lower rate, and then I would go to another place and it would be $5 more. And then I would go to another place and it would be $3 less. And then I would go to another place and it would be $6 more. So it just depends on where you are. If you are truly interested in being a medical coder, I will tell you this, all right? It takes a lot of reading, a lot of studying. And it's not just when you're in school. This is continuous. I have no reason to lie or to try to draw a bunch of people in. I have no reason to do that. I am being honest with you guys in the fact that when you are a medical coder, it doesn't just stop when you finish school and you sit for your certification exam and you get your first job. It's not going to stop there. You still have to have continuing education units. And this means you are still studying throughout the year, because you have to have a certain set number of continuing education units, which again, it is different from association to association. There's the American Health Information Management Association, which is the association that I belong to. And there's the American Academy of Professional Coders. Both are very reputable corporations, right? Not corporations, but they're both widely recognized medical coding associations, is what I meant to say. They're both widely recognized. They both have different rules, okay? So for however many credentials you have, that plays a part in it. What credential you have plays a part in it of how many continuing education units you need, okay? Now, if all of this sounds confusing, it's just a lot in the beginning, but after a while, you'll start to understand what it all means. But my biggest bit of advice, and I will say this to anybody and everybody who asks me this question, how much do medical coders make? How much do billers make? I will tell you the same thing that I have said from the day one that I've started. Do not get into this for the money, okay? This is something that offers very good pay, yes, but it also offers intellectual stimulation, and it also offers, a lot of reading, okay? And that's primarily what this is. You're reading, and you're looking at documentation all day, and you're making sure that there's detail where there's supposed to be detail. If you want to know what medical coder makes in your area, I would suggest that you go to whatever search engine you have that you're using for your work search, right? And just put in there medical coder, and it should bring up what medical coders make in that area. Okay. But that's if you're wanting to know, because honestly, I really couldn't tell you, even if I wanted to. Okay. I couldn't tell you how much a medical biller makes, or how much a medical coder makes in other areas of the country. Okay. Because like I said, if you're in New York, it's going to be different from if you're in California, or if you're in Texas, or if you're in Michigan, or if you're in Florida, if you're in Washington State. I mean, if you're in Nebraska, you know what I mean? It is going to be different anywhere and everywhere you go, okay? But remember, medical coders have to have credentials, all right? Billers do not. Many do not have to have they're not even certified medical coders, okay? They have their own certificates that say that they completed a program. And some billers that I've known don't even have that, you know? They pretty much have work experience, and that's what they have. So keep that in mind. You know, if you're in a profession where you have to have continuing education units, there is a higher technical level of knowledge that's expected from somebody that has that, versus somebody that is, you know, processing claims. The medical billers, they have their work cut out for them, because they work with the insurance companies. So they have to know all these rules too. So again, guys, if you ask me that question, I have to say the same thing over and over again, and I feel bad. But I do have to say that I don't know. It just depends on where you are, okay? But again, please don't get into it if you're just looking at it for the money, because I've known people who got into it because they saw the money. And when they got into it, when they got through the school, they decided they didn't like it. And all that money they spent on school to get into something that they didn't even like. And they didn't even end up getting a job doing it because they said that they didn't like it. So all that time, it was wasted for them to get something that they didn't even want to do. So this is why I'm always very honest when I say it's a lot of reading, it's a lot of studying, and you got to be paying attention to these rules and looking at this new stuff that's coming out. You know, I'm not saying it to be harping on you guys. I'm telling you this because this is actually what happens. You know, this is real life. You know, this is all a part of being a medical coder, because there's going to be people that will try to sugarcoat and say, oh yeah, no. I will tell you, this is the honest truth. It's a lot of reading, it's a lot of studying. But if that's what you want, please, this is a great field, you know, at least that's my opinion, okay? It is a wonderful field. It has really provided for me. I've gotten to travel. I, you know, have wonderful things, you know what I mean? I've had great experiences. Literally, I've had great experiences being a medical coder. And I have said from the beginning that I don't know where in my life I would be if I didn't have medical coding. If I didn't, if I hadn't met Enrique, if I hadn't even been unemployed, okay? Let me just start from the beginning. If I hadn't been unemployed, if I hadn't gone and had filed for unemployment, if I hadn't gone and met Enrique, if he hadn't insisted on me checking out medical coding, if my mom hadn't pushed me like she did and helped me and wrote flashcards for me and drilled with me and studied with me and supported me the entire time that I was in school, when I got out of school, when I was looking for, you know, work. And if I had not kept pushing, because there was so many doors slammed in my face in the very beginning, that, you know, it's very discouraging when people tell you, we can't hire you because you don't have no experience. Every single time I turned around, you're passing your exam, but our entrance exam, but we can't let you in because you don't have any experience. And then I thank the people that gave me that chance in the very beginning, the people at the temporary agency, the principal from my school who told me to go to the temporary agency, even when I said I didn't want to go, because I was just like, why would I want a temporary job, But I had to go with it. And that was something that I had to learn, was go with it. And, if I hadn't had all these people in my path to say, hey, I'll give you a try, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't have these 10 plus years I've had, behind me now, and all this growth and learning and everything else that I've done. I wouldn't have that if I didn't have all of these people to push me, and if I didn't have that drive for myself that my mom instilled in me. Where would I be? So this is why whenever I get a chance to encourage anybody, I always like to do it, because you never know when you're telling somebody something about your field, what is it going to do for that person? And if they end up becoming a medical coder themselves, and if it does something positive for their life, that's wonderful, because everything we do as medical coders trickles down to the next person, the next person, next person, next person, next person. Okay? It really does. From the doctor to the hospital to the patient, to making sure all of their record is in order and all of their diagnoses are being picked up and all the procedures that they had. I could go on and on about this, but it really is amazing. So when you think about it, if it's something that you do want to do, you either have to do it or you don't. Okay? But it is entirely up to you. And, if you look at it and you say, hey, well, I don't mind all that reading, I don't mind studying, go for it. That's all you can do. Because you're gonna kind of wonder after a while, like, well, what if I had done that? Or I could have done that. You literally can do anything you set your mind to, And not to make this a pep rally talk, right? But, I like I said, I went to school with people who were in their late 40s, who were in their 50s, just starting out, and they're still doing it. So, and they're in their 50s and 60s now. One lady, I think, is probably in her 70s, because she was an older lady. She was, how old was she? I think she was like in her 60s. So she must have been like 61 or something like that, and she had just started. And yeah, she was sharp, boy. She was really sharp. But I think she had a career as a nurse and things like that. So she had some background in medical already, but sharp as a tack. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up because I'm getting long-winded. But keep in mind, Q&A Tuesday tomorrow. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know. I already do have a list going for Q&A Tuesday, so anytime. Well, I will see y'all tomorrow. So if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. All right, I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.